Hi friends, I'm excited to share a new layout with you today for the Shimmerz Paints design team using the July color kits. I absolutely love all of the colors in the color kits this month and love the happy feel of those colors and the pattern papers and all of the different parts that go into the color kits. So here I am showing the different colors that are included. So there's 2 yellows, 2 pinks, and then 1 green, and then there's a bonus bundle. In the bonus bundle, there is another green called Let Us Get Together that's a Creameez. So I am just showing all of those colors to start with, and I'll talk about the different finishes as I put them on the layout. That's that lettuce. That last one was the bonus bundle. And then here, what I am doing, so this sheet comes with the paper, and it's a paintable, it's like ephemera or embellishments that you paint. So I am using the two, like the 2 pinks to do the strawberries. And I love the Berry Smart Shimmers. That is so pretty and shimmery and shiny, and that was my favorite one to use on those strawberries. So then I am using the 2 different greens to do the leaves, and I am painting, I didn't mention this, I'm painting with a watercolor brush. So it's got water in it, and I'm not squeezing a lot of water because most of the mediums I'm using are already wet. I went through with my Creameez and added water before I got started, so they were good to go and activated and ready to paint. And then I painted the lemons with the 2 yellows, and I did mix both of the colors on all of those little embellishments. So I end up loving how they turned out, and spent a lot of time fussy cutting them out. That took quite a bit of time, but I ended up loving how they look on the layout, so it was totally worth it. And I love to fussy cut. I'm one of those weird people. So what I am doing here is I am starting with a piece of Foundations mixed media cardstock and for my stash, and I started with the No Yolking colorings because it was kind of a brighter yellow, and then I sprayed on the Squeeze the Day color splash because that's like that acrylic color splash is one of my favorite mixes for the Shimmerz paints, and it is an acrylic spray, so I love how that looks, that finishing, that it has kind of a shiny finish and a little bit thicker, so I will put that on top. And then what I'm doing here is I took a stencil from my stash and some ink from my stash, and I'm just adding they're really like color wheels or pinwheels, but I thought they looked like lemons. So I thought that was cute. You don't really end up seeing them. I don't think you can see that at all on the finished layout, unfortunately, but I did maybe in a couple of places. Well, you can see a couple of those poking out, but it's not an overwhelming detail on that finished layout. So here what I did is I added that Very Smart Shimmers again and painted it on just a little bit, and then I used a piece of packaging to go and kind of smush it around. It was a little too perfect and I didn't want it to be 100% perfect right there in the middle, so I used the packaging to spread out that color and make it look a little bit messier. And again, I end up covering up most of that as well, but you do see it behind the embellishments kind of poking through when you're looking at the layout in person. So it was important that it was back there to me. So what I am doing here is I'm taking all of those pieces of ephemera that I fussy cut or embellishments that I fussy cut, and I am adding craft foam to those, and I kind of tried to start with the bigger pieces. So those lemons that I just added right there were from the patterned paper, and I'm going to add the lemons on the other side as well. Those are my biggest elements, and then everything else I'm going to kind of tuck in around that. So my photos, I've got 5 photos, and they are pictures of a lemonade stand that we did. My son wanted to raise money for his school, and in a fundraiser that they were doing. And so he wanted to do a lemonade stand, and so we went and got the lemons at a farmer's market, and some at the store, some of the ingredients at the store as well, and then made a lemonade stand. So this layout, these pattern papers and the colors and all the things were perfect for this layout. So I am adding the lemons, and then I'm going to go and tuck in. And he actually did, it was kind of funny. When I saw this pattern paper, it was absolutely perfect because he did lemonade, and then he also mashed strawberries into each cup before he poured the lemonade to make the strawberry lemonade. So this really was the perfect set of things for this layout. But they would be pretty with you could do lots of different summer themed layouts with all of these embellishments. But for me, it was made for these pictures. So I have those 5 pictures down the center, kind of tilted, and then I wanted my embellishments to sort of be horizontal through the middle, right around close to the photos, to draw your attention to that. So that's kind of what I was thinking about as I was building it. And I also wanted to make sure I was moving the color around. So I wanted pink, it's predominantly yellow. I have lots and lots of lemons on there, but I wanted those pink strawberries to kind of be spread out throughout those clusters of embellishments. So I have some at the top, like on the right side, I have them at the top and a few at the bottom. And then on the left side, like the bigger ones are in the middle, and then top and bottom. So it's all kind of spread out all over. And then I am taking a couple of other little embellishments and adding those in. So that little circle, I keep moving it around. It's going to end up back on the right side where I started with it. And it says, "When life hands you lemons." And I thought that was cute for this lemonade layout. And then the arrows were in the ephemera, in the July kits. So I have that, I started with that pink arrow at the top. It's kind of overlapping the photo. And then I just added the green one sort of in the middle. And then there's going to be a yellow one down at the bottom. And I love how those arrows look kind of tucked in with all the other embellishments. It's kind of I don't know. I just like how they look. So, and I loved the colors with all of the green leaves and the pink strawberries and the yellow lemons. So I thought all of that went really well together. And then here what I'm doing is I am going and adding some splatters. And I will end up also adding, right now I'm adding yellow splatters, but I am going to take some paint, and that the color splash is really good for splatters because it's an acrylic spray. When you add the splatters, they dry raised, so it kind of adds texture as well as color. That's why it's one of my favorites. So I added that first, and then I am going to take, well, not yet, sorry, in a second I'm going to add some pink. So I did add in a few more of the leaves that I had painted, and then fussy cut. And then here we're going now. So that color that I am adding, I think is good old summertime. The Creameez, the pink Creameez. I think that's what I'm adding right there. And again, I'm using that watercolor brush just because it kind of helps me thin out a little bit the color. I wanted the pink to be a little more subtle. I wanted you to see it, but I wanted it to be subtle. So I wanted, by adding the water, using the watercolor brush, I'm able to easily kind of squeeze it a little bit and add some water to kind of thin out that color. And it's not quite as bold as if I were just adding it with my paintbrush. You can kind of see I went around the photos at the top, and then I'm doing the photos at the bottom and kind of just connecting that pink color to the yellow. I do wipe it off in a couple of places where I feel like I got too much. And then I'm going to use my paintbrush to go and add splatters of the pink all over. and this is one of my favorite color combinations. Pink and yellow and kind of a lime green is one of my absolute all-time favorite color combinations. So this is right up my alley. And then I did add my journaling block, and it's teeny tiny print, but I am still able to read it in person. In the photos, it's going to be way too hard to read, but in real life, you can still read it. And I took my journaling, just one little tip, when we do things as a family, I usually post about it on my personal Facebook, and I usually tell like a description of what we're doing. And so when I am creating a layout, sometimes I will go back, and actually often I will go back to the original post to find the details about what we did and what I wrote. And it helps me, like for this one, I was able to just print directly what I had written onto a journaling block and put it on the layout. I didn't have to even edit it at all because it had all the details that I wanted to have in there. So that's just a little tip if you haven't thought about doing that before. It's a great way to add journaling to your layouts. And then I'm going to go and add a few more little things. So these are the epoxy stickers that come in the kits. So that one that I just added is lemons. And then I think I also added, did I add another one? That might be the only one that I add. I think I was going to do another one and then ended up taking that off. So I will add a heart there. That pink heart's going to go right there. But I'm going to add some thread behind it. So I'm just taking some like sewing thread and creating a little bundle or a little nest of thread there to put behind that pink heart. And then I do add little clusters of thread or little piles of tangled thread sort of all over this layout. So I did do it in the pink, green, and yellow. So I added all the way around both of those clusters on both sides. And I kind of tried to tuck it in so you only see parts of it poking out. And then I tried to be mindful, like if there were a lot of lemons in an area, like a lot of the yellow, then I tried to add pink thread in that area. And then around like where the strawberries were, I added some of the yellow, or the green. It was actually green that I added there. And then here I am taking the sequins that come in the bonus bundle, and they are fantastic. It might be my favorite sequin mix ever. So it's got really cute and lots of different sizes of the pinks and greens and yellows. And then there's little strawberries that are little embellishments. So it's not just sequins, it's also embellishments in there, and it's absolutely fantastic. And I love the sparkle that adds, like adding the sequins around the layout. I love the sparkle and how those pick up the light as you add them around. And then I think the final touch is going to be the pops of color. So I took the three main colors from the layout, the pink, the green, and the yellow, and I am adding those pops of color around the sequins. So creating little clusters of embellishments there. And I did at some point, I might have done that off camera, I added thread. So behind my journaling block, I used one of the tags that was in the ephemera set, and I added some thread to that. And there is the finished layout. So I personally believe you should go out and buy this entire set of the paper and the bonus bundle and the color kit. It is fantastic this month. And if you do, put my name, Sarah Millerhouse, in the comments, and you'll get a free gift. I hope you enjoyed the process. And if you have questions, let me know.